Hello and welcome to the No Easy Way Out podcast. My name is Tony Nash, and we are coming to you as always from the Armory in beautiful downtown Owasso, Michigan, home to my company, AZ Business Solutions, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. Our guest today is a friend of mine, someone that I really enjoy being around, and that is the one, the only, Casey Lambert, a.k.a. DJ Chewy. DJ Chewy, welcome to the show, my man.
Hey, Tony, thanks for having me, man. This is my first podcast, so I'm super excited about this.
This cannot be true. This is your first podcast?
This is. It's something I kind of always wanted to do since I heard a podcast about Sasquatches about 6 years ago. Oh. And I thought, you know what? I could talk about...
Sasquatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch. It's plural. It's plural. I thought, hey, people could talk about Sasquatches. So can I. We're going to talk about the Loch Ness Monster today.
Well, I am shocked to know that this is the first time you've been behind the mic of a podcast. I know you've been around a lot of other mics, but it's good to have you here. So what is DJ Chewy up to these days?
It's summer, right? Actually, officially the first day of summer today, and the sun blessed us, so happy with that. But
No rain.
Really focusing on playing the kind of shows that I want to play right now. Which is a stark contrast from probably the first 10 years of what I've done. But it's really allowed me to kind of search myself and figure out what I like and what I want to do going forward.
On the journey to self-discovery.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, let's talk about the nickname, the name DJ Chewy.
I see. Okay.
Now, I know of a Wookiee named Chewy. I don't know if the two are related, but I'm wanting to find out. In all the years I've known you, I've never asked you that question. Where did you come up with the name DJ Chewy?
You know, it's funny. I get this question all the time, especially if I'm playing for the Latino crowd. I always get like, "Hey, man, your name's Chewy. Like, you got a cousin? Is it Estefan, man?" I'm like, "No,
Esteban."
Wrong. Yeah, I was like, "Wrong Chewy. Yeah. So this is kind of cool. So in like the old school DJ creed, which is kind of where I come from, you're not allowed to pick your own name.
Oh.
It just like has to be given to you.
Oh.
And when I was in radio, when I was working at WWCK in Flint, I was on the morning show with this dude named Chachi.
DJ Chachi, yeah.
Yeah, who apparently looked like Scott Baio when he was younger. Mm-hmm. So that's
Charles
where that
in
came
charge.
from. Yes, it was. But his girlfriend at the time, Shauna, we were just hanging out, drinking a couple Diet Cokes, if you will.
I will.
And... I will, maybe later. But and she just goes, "Man, you are really furry." And I went, "Really?" And Chachi goes, "Man, that's it." He's like, "You're Chewy." So of course I got the
I was going to ask you to do the sound, so I'm glad that you brought that out.
Everybody
for us.
does, but shout out to Shauna. That's why I'm DJ Chewy.
Shauna, thank you for making him who he is today. We give all the credit to the name, so we're going to shout out Shauna for that one.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, so you wear a lot of hats. It's to cover that bald head, I'm sure.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But you're an executive.
Mm-hmm.
You're a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You are an Olympic weightlifter.
Yep.
You're a YouTube sensation.
That's questionable.
Viral videos. You're a meal prep chef now. I'm seeing you on Facebook all the time prepping meals for people.
Oh, yeah.
You even have people asking you to prep their meals for them. So we do a lot of different things. But if you had to choose one of those things to be your full-time gig, like this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, which one of those things would it be and why?
Well, I'll be honest here. I wouldn't pick one of those things to do.
You like doing them all?
I like doing them all. And I've always been just like a firm believer of if you have a multitude of skills, use those multitudes of skills. Mm-hmm. If you have multiple interests, use that. You know, just hunkering yourself down, for me at least, to one career or to focusing only on that. And it might work for some people. Mm-hmm. But for me, like, you could be so much more extraordinary in so many other things that you do. So why cuff yourself? Like,
right.
For me, that's how it works. So like I'm not necessarily attracted to someone who's very one track.
One dimensional.
Yeah, somebody who's, I mean, good for them. If you got determination,
Sure.
You got one thing to do, dude, go for it. But I'm more attracted to those people that have a wide ranging set of skills. And that's the kind of the people that I like to keep close in my social circle that I want to spend my time with. And time's, of course, the most valuable resource that you have.
Yeah. So Chewy's not a double threat guy. He's not a triple threat guy. He's not even a quadruple threat guy. What do you call a 5-threat guy?
I think it'd be a quintuple threat.
You're a quintuple threat guy.
Yeah,
all right, you should put that on your eHarmony profile.
Oh, geez. I don't know about that. Man.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
All right. So now we're going to start to talk a little bit about you individually as a DJ and some of these other things you do. But you have a big following. People like you. People like to be around you, and very well known in the region. And so what is the thing you think that really sets you apart, that makes you unique?
Right. So this is really cool, and this is why I was really excited to come on this podcast, Tony. So I appreciate the invite. So what I'm about to tell you and all the people listening to the No Easy Way Out podcast.
Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, buddy.
Even though they're already here.
But if they're just now tuning in.
Right, there you go. Appreciate it.
You know how the internet works.
Yes.
This isn't necessarily a secret, but it's somewhat of an art form that I think's been lost throughout the past maybe decade or 20 years. And that's the ability to connect with people, the ability to control a conversation or have a conversation in general. And I'm not talking about like going to networking events, passing around a card, commenting on somebody's picture on Instagram, or giving them like a what's up when
right.
Hey, I saw you at the corner pub, man. Super cool. Like I'm talking about like genuinely making people feel like they're part of your life and part of what you're trying to do and accomplish, but inversely making them feel like you are part of their life and you want to be part of what they're doing and accomplishing.
Right.
And I really do, like, in a way, it's getting somebody on your team, but also being part of their team.
Yeah.
And you can be comfortable with each other in that setting. So I guess you would say being a conversationalist.
Yeah, and I would say it's certainly a lost art. Certainly a lost art. As a hotelier, when I ran hotels, I did that for about 10 years.
That's how we met, actually.
Yeah,
Comstock.
the Comstock.
Yeah.
That's right. And so that was always such an important thing to me. And there are certainly industries where you could say that's clearly important, such as a hotel, a DJ. You're an operations manager with a large company, and so you deal with a lot of clients. So making that connection is important. But would you say that making a personal connection is really a key thing to any business owner, to any entrepreneur, to any small business, large business owner? Do you think it's important for everybody, or just specific industries?
No, it's absolutely important, no matter what part of a business or industry that you are in charge of or running, and this goes top to bottom, CEOs down to production workers. All of it's very important. The way you talk to people, the vocal tonality that you have, even simple things like neuro-linguistic prophecy, using somebody's name when you talk to them. Easy for you to say, Tony. But all of those things are crucially important, and it goes a long way, like I said, in how I am able to make connections with people is just by using those type of prophecies. And it's not necessarily something, you can feel free to search the internet far and wide. You're going to get 40 different answers.
Yeah.
Because it'll apply to people in 40 different ways. So, and absolutely anybody this applies to. If you can make a conversation with somebody, they are going to listen. That's natural.
Yeah.
They're going to connect to you. You're going to start to connect to them. Yeah. At that point, then it becomes, okay, am I interested in this person? Are they interested in me? Can we contribute to each other's lives?
Yeah.
If not, okay, a high five at the corner pub's perfectly
still nice
fine.
to meet you.
Exactly.
It's still nice to meet you. Yeah. And sometimes people get the sense that someone that's trying to be nice to me has some angle. Like, they're not, why is this person being so friendly? Because
Bingo.
people are losing that. Like, they are only friendly to the people they need something from. And so like you said, just nice to meet somebody and have a conversation is great. And then if you can apply that in business, where you really make it a point to connect with your customer, with your client, with the person that comes in your business, that will certainly make a difference. It has in my business. We're a small company here at AZ Business Solutions. We work with a lot of clients locally and even across the United States. And what I found is when I don't take the time to sit down with my clients, talk about their needs, talk about how things are going, something starts to get lost. People really like that connection. And I think today you can stand out as a business just by doing that alone. If you imply that principle of not just viewing every customer as a number, as a transaction, but you connect with them and figure out what they enjoy and what they like on a real level, that alone will make you stand out in the business world.
I like the way you said it. Like, a lot of people have the approach of, well, if they're being nice to me, they want something,
right,
or they need something. Well, it's not necessarily, making connection isn't about wants and needs. Yeah, we'll get further along to that. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But at this time, man, it's like, hey, Tony, man, you're super cool because we used to play Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past,
Right.
like on NES. Like that's what we did.
Exactly.
We connect with that.
Right.
Okay, further along the line, oh, hey, Tony, don't you do business solutions? Like, hey, man, would you be able to help me out with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. At that point, then you've already got a personal connection with the other person.
Right.
But that's not
It's turned into something else.
Yeah, your business isn't the purpose for that connection. The connection is the
I just was
connection.
interested in you as a person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
I was interested in you. I wanted to meet you because I'm interested in you, not your business or what you're doing. I'm interested in you.
Exactly.
It's huge.
Well, I think one of the things that has really hurt that, and you can agree or disagree, is social media. You know, in high school, I had like 8 friends, and that was pretty good. You know, I had my circle of my homies, 8 guys, you know, a couple of girls.
Was that your top 8 on your MySpace?
I was friend zoned a lot, you know, but with the girls. But, you know, but now I have like 2,000 friends. 2,000 friends on Facebook.
Is Tom one of your friends from MySpace?
Tom, the original, the OG, yeah. I don't think I have him. I don't know if I ever had a MySpace page, to be honest with you. I kind of missed that era.
That was before your time, Zach.
Yeah, he doesn't know what that is. But Zach is our production guy in the back, so we keep referring to him. But anyways, you know, and then, you know, I get on Instagram. I have, you know, 1,500, 2,000 followers, something like that. And, you know, so people get this impression that we have all these friends, but yet I guarantee you I've walked right past someone that I'm friends with on Facebook in Walmart and didn't even know who they were. And so we have these connections, if you want to call it. It even says connect with people on Facebook, connect on LinkedIn, connect on Twitter. And yet there's really little connection that happens. It's just you know, we're sharing information. Now, maybe I know more about people than I ever did. I know what they had for lunch and what they had for dinner and what time they went to the bathroom and where they went grocery shopping, but I don't know them on a personal level. And so do you think social media has helped or hurt the ability to really connect personally?
I think it depends on how you use it. And I think a lot of people kind of misinterpret how you can use it to connect with people. So in a way, I think the answer to this one is, although they preach on these platforms connection, they're diluting the beauty of what actual connection is.
Right.
And they're dumbing it down to...
And the word friends.
Yeah, and they're dumbing it down to, you know, clicking a red heart that says like or giving a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Like they're diluting it down to that rather than, you know, enjoying somebody's personal vibe. Like you know, I'll see people on there and maybe I'll get a follow on my IG or something like that, and I'll look and I'll go, wow, you know, I genuinely want to meet this person. And in which case then I would reach out and say, hey, you know, you seem really interesting. I want to meet you. Let's talk.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Foster and get a cup of coffee or something. And that's where I think the disconnect is.
Yeah.
Because, and you and I were talking a little bit before the show about how people are a little bit aversive to making a connection. And I think a lot of that comes into fear of rejection or fear of judgment, which we've somehow developed a knack for having in the U.S. in the past 20 years.
Yeah. It's, well, I think, you know, it started with giving away a trophy for 9th place. You know,
I think that had something to do with it.
Certainly. I think as you grow up in a world where you never experience any sort of loss or failure, you know, everybody's graded on a curve, everybody gets a trophy, and nobody ever really experienced that loss or defeat. And so then they can become an adult and they don't know how. And so they're afraid of that rejection or afraid of somebody.
Yes. You're right along the right lines of it, because positive reinforcement is a beautiful thing.
Sure.
Right. Whether it be children, employees of yours, peers, friends, anybody you have a relationship with, positive reinforcement is great. However, it's much more meaningful if you're not afraid of the conflict of negative reinforcement,
right,
or telling somebody how they're doing or giving somebody your honest opinion. Like I had a friend today, I read one of her Instagram posts and it was talking about being honest and real. And it really is sad.
I think I saw the same one.
You probably.
I did, yeah.
Probably.
We have a lot of mutual friends.
But it is. But if you are somebody who can face conflict, deal with it head on, and move through it, then all of your positive reinforcement to the other person, that connection of yours, is so much more meaningful.
Right.
Because you've now created an air of trust, as in, I'm going to be real with you,
right,
but I also love the crap out of you.
Yeah. And I think that makes people want to be around you. When you're a person like that, if you've spent any time with DJ Chewy, he's a magnetic personality. People enjoy to be around him. And, I've had similar luck in my life because I genuinely like to talk to people. I'm a conversationalist. I like to sit down. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. And so I've never had a difficult time making friends and getting acquainted with people. And I've had a lot of people that have said we become fast friends. We get along quickly. I think I've been in 15 weddings. I'm like that 27 dresses or 15 tuxes, And so, I've made a connection with people, and I think that really, really helps in my business. But, we talk about social media, but the other thing that maybe is a hindrance to this is the smartphone. Now, I'm an iPhone guy. I love my iPhone. I use it a lot for business.
Likewise.
When I get the screen time report every week, I cringe a little bit to realize I was on the phone that much. But I can justify it by saying a lot of it was for business. We manage almost 70 social media accounts.
Oh,
so we're certainly
Bless your heart, Tony.
we're utilizing our phones a lot. But recently I was at a basketball game. This was a college basketball game, and right in front of me, NCAA Division I basketball was happening. But directly in front of me, there was these 3 kids, probably, 16 to 18, I have no idea, a boy and 2 girls. And I noticed they're looking down at their phone the entire time, and I'm thinking they're missing the game. Like, why are you here? And so just out of curiosity, I kind of lead forward and I peek down, and I realized they were texting each other.
No way.
The 3 of them, were having a conversation. Now, maybe it's because it was loud, but that's how they were communicating.
Oh, man. Come on.
And I thought to myself, man, that's not socializing. That's not making friends. Like, why can't they look at each other and talk? I've done a lot of job interviews with younger people, and they have a hard time looking you in the eye and have a conversation because they prefer to communicate through this device. And so certainly I'm not one of these down on smartphones. I love mine. I use it a lot. But I can also see...
Mine runs my life.
Yeah, I can see where text messaging and social media and these types of things have really hindered the ability to communicate and connect with people on a personal level.
Yeah, it's you bring up a fantastic point there. Like, as we've been sitting here recording this podcast, I felt my phone buzz maybe 8 or 9 times. But here's what I'm doing with that. Okay, I'll check it later.
Right.
Because in the presence of you...
Is it giving you anxiety to know that it's...
To me, no. But I think a lot of people it might.
It does,
Like, to me right now, this is the most important thing in the world. I'm talking with Tony. Zach's here chilling. Like, everybody out in social media land is watching and listening. That's the most important thing to me right now. So I think people get social anxiety with this. They always have to be connected. They always want to be able to respond to somebody if they say something to them because they feel like they're going to get judged if they don't.
Right.
Right. It's the fear of rejection, the fear of not
missing
meeting
out.
somebody's
FOMO. That's a real thing.
FOMO's
Fear
a
of
real
missing
thing.
out.
That's true. So I guess that's where the smartphone thing kind of runs with me. It ties into social anxiety, and people really start to kind of like it's this way for me. I'd rather put this phone down. Let's say I'm at a sporting event too, right? I'd rather put this phone down because you know what? There might be some super cool dude 3 rows over wearing a Detroit Vipers jersey to a Pistons game, and I'm going, man, I got to meet that dude because I love that joint.
Yeah.
I love that joint.
I've seen you in your Vipers jersey, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. It's a cheap plug to the Detroit Vipers of 1997.
Yeah.
Turner Cup champs, baby.
That's right. They were great.
The nostalgic people.
You're a hockey guy.
Yeah, but there's how many billion odd people in the world, right? So let's just say there's 7. I don't know the exact numbers.
Yeah.
But there's 6,999,999,999 people other than you that are out there. Go meet these people, man.
Yeah.
Learn something.
Get out of your bubble.
You never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah. Well, and I think there are probably people that even want to do that, but they just have become so dependent upon utilizing these. We live in a world where we have more ways to connect than ever before. The internet, you have all the social media, you have dating sites and dating apps, you have text messaging, phone calls. I can FaceTime somebody on the other side of the world anytime I want. I mean, I can remember a day. I'm not that old, but I can remember a day where if you wanted to see somebody's face, you had to go see them. Now you can FaceTime them. You can see what they're doing on social media. So there's so many ways to connect, and yet statistically, personal connection is an all-time low. And so I think there are people that want to make that connection. I think in their mind and their heart, they wish they could do that, but they've kind of become so dependent on these other mediums and alternatives that they don't really know how. They just don't know how.
Yeah, I guess for me, at least, and allow me to talk about myself for a second.
Please do.
I genuinely enjoy people, and I love that you're the same way. Like, I'm curious about your life, and not for the reason of I want something out of you, or I want to get something out of you, or I want to date you or be with you. It's for the reason
I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, you're cute, Tony. You guys can see the canvas.
I'm glad to hear that.
Man, that is a sharp-looking dude. But mad shout out to Tony's wife, by the way.
Yes, she's a lucky woman.
Lucky woman. But it really is. I'm generally curious about people. I want to know about them. I want to know what they like. I want to know what they don't like. You know, I want to know what they're into. Because you never know who you're going to find that's like, you know what, man, I really want to go kayaking down the Shiawassee River. Let's do that. You know, or I want to go skydiving. Like, let's do that. But in the same way, it just kind of going along the theme of what we're talking about, a lot of it lies in fear.
Right.
Of, well, maybe I don't want to, like, hang out with this person because they're weird. They're weird because, why are they weird? Right. Because they're interested in you.
Right.
Like, how is that?
Well,
when did that become weird?
I remember the first time I met you, though, and I was surprised at how quickly you just wanted to come up and talk to me. And, of course, I was the manager, so I'm kind of wondering, like, what is this guy? You know, even I thought,
who is this dude?
Yeah, but, I mean, you just were so eager and willing to just have a conversation and talk, and that's why we kind of hit it up. Now, we don't necessarily hang out on a personal level, but every time we see each other, we just have a good time. We throw in a few 80s references.
Oh, yeah.
We always have something to laugh about, and so there's just that connection there. And I think that's exactly what we're talking about. But I think society is kind of is kind of driving away from that. And let me explain. You know, technology has become so advanced. I heard a comedian say the other day, I feel like technology should have stopped like in 1996. Like we had enough technology then we had that we could use that we really should have stopped, because now it's getting so crazy where everything's so automated. And you know, the saying there's an app for that is true. There's just an app for about everything. You know, you go into a restaurant and you don't order at the counter. There's a kiosk, and you don't talk to somebody. Just recently, Zach and I went to McDonald's right here in Owasso, and we walk in. We're gonna have some breakfast, to talk about some things, and there's nobody in line. It's virtually almost an empty restaurant at this time. And so I go up to the counter to order, you know, my number 9 steak, egg, and cheese bagel meal.
Oh, that sounds good. Cheat meal day, baby.
Yeah, well, that's a daily meal for me. So, but anyways, so the girl, instead of taking my order, she goes, "Have you used our kiosk before?" I'm like, "Oh, I've seen them before." And I'm pretty tech savvy, so I'm not like opposed to convenience. I always assume those kiosks were there for when it's so busy that they just want to get more people through the line. But this was not that case. She's there by herself. She literally comes out from around the counter and takes me over to the kiosk to let me just do it myself. And after that, then we bring her a receipt, and then she gives us a thing to put on our table with a number, and there's literally like no communication. So I think that, you know, a lot of young people like that. They want to order off their phone. They want to go to the kiosk. They want to, you know, get online and place the order. They want to order from Amazon. You know, virtually people could almost do everything right from their home. Do you think people even care about this personal connection anymore? Are we past that day? Is that even something that people want?
It's hard to say. I think that's inherited behavior, inherited from your environment, not necessarily from a person. And kind of allow me to explain this. So the reason the automation is so appealing to so many people, or especially so many young people, no offense, Zach, but it completely cuts out the possibility of having a negative reaction given to you from someone in any way, shape, or form. You're not going to get
it's not just the convenience. It's that what you're describing.
Well, it's quicker too. I mean, obviously,
but that's not the primary. What you're saying is that's not necessarily the primary reason.
Yes, it's people are aversive to personal connections because, you know what, somebody could break your heart.
It's a defense mechanism.
You know, it's a defense mechanism. Somebody could be rude to you. So instead of facing conflict or accepting it for what it is, they're completely cutting it out, right? So we're putting blinders on here.
Yeah.
And I like to kind of liken this to, and automation does that. And I like to kind of liken it to drug abuse in some way, shape, or form. Okay, people use drugs. Why? Because it's an altered state of mind. It essentially is fake happiness. But eventually you use that so much, you become addicted to that fake happiness.
Right.
And then you forget what your actual happiness is.
You don't even know how to be happy without it.
Exactly. You don't know. You know, so that's why people use drugs. Years down the road, now you're dependent on it.
Yeah.
You don't know how to reconnect back with society, and it's
Yeah.
just a terrible, horrible road to be down. You know, and so go hang out with people, right?
Yeah.
Make relationships with people. Put your freaking phones down.
Yeah.
And enjoy somebody else's aura.
Yeah.
You know, get in their vibe, get in their mood, man.
Yeah.
People are so much cooler than you think.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think that people have become dependent on these other things. And, you know, I mentioned earlier that I think some people want that or want to know how to get there. And maybe the first step is just, like you said, put your phone down, get off social media, take out social media fast. It's not, you don't have to have Facebook. You don't have to have Instagram. And so maybe if that's affecting you and you find that you're not making connections with people, maybe that's a good first step. But, you know, let's put this kind of to the test. I mean, you are an entrepreneur. You have a full-time job, but you also, you lift weights and you train people. You started prepping meals, but that wasn't enough. You want to now prep meals for other people, and you're making videos, free content, showing people how to do it. And then you DJ a lot. And so how would you say, so we've talked a lot about this connection, but would you say, and why, tell our audience why that personal connection, if they still aren't convinced that maybe it's important, why has that set you apart from your competitors and all these different things you're doing?
I think that answer is pretty simple, Tony, at least for me. If you can be the person that everybody wants to be around, or that person that genuinely gives somebody the feeling that you care about them, then you're already well on your way. They're going to flock to you, okay?
Yeah.
And that in itself is the essence of entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to go to the Lebowski, you're going to see Cabaret the musical, and it's going to be great. Why? Okay, they're fantastic at singing and dancing, but you actually feel like you're part of the show. You're in there. That's the essence of entertainment. So let's take, for example, I know you love 80s references, right?
Right.
So people connected to Prince, right? Prince had some fantastic tracks, man. So great. It was heart. It was soul. You know, you knew the place that Prince was coming from. And I think a lot of people connect with music differently.
Sure.
Based on who it is. I mean, that's what it is. But for a lot of cats, like in the DJ game, you know, their head kind of comes in the wrong way. You know, they're just out there, you know, they're up there, the fist pump on stage because they want a big following and it looks super lit. And they want to be like that guy at Electric Forest in the Instagram videos. You know, they think it's going to get them chicks and money, you know, but what they miss out on is being able to actually make a connection with, say, your music.
Yeah.
Or in the instance of like weightlifting, actually making a connection with the student instead of just going, do this, do this, do this, and that, and you'll probably be pretty good. No, I want to know what I can do to make you better.
Yeah.
But only if your goals are to get better.
Yeah.
So you have to get to that level, and you have to truly actually feel connected with somebody, and you know that's where expectations kind of come in.
Yeah.
It's a lot to be, but for me, it really is. That's what sets me apart. I'm genuinely interested in making somebody else better.
And I can vouch for that. I you know, like I said, Chewy and I are not, you know, we don't hang out all the time.
Not enough.
I follow him on Instagram. I follow him on Facebook, and I see what's going on in his life. But every video I see that he posts, you know, he's up there. There's people around him. He's out there on the dance floor with people. He's in the middle of the crowd. He's got people excited about what's going on, and he takes it to another level. He won the People's Choice Award. Is that a state of Michigan wide award?
That was Michigan DJ Olympics People's Champ, I think 2013 and 2014.
People's Champ like 2 years in a row. And, man, I mean, he's booked out quite a bit with DJing and probably turning gigs away. So my point is, he's not just saying these things because, you know, he read a book and these are principles. He's actually applied these things, and it's helped him a lot as an entrepreneur. So, you know, we talk about all of these different things you're doing. I know you mostly from your DJing because that was when we first met.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, you got your hands on a lot of different things. So at the end of it all, what does success look like to Casey Lambert, the man, the myth, the legend?
So I, back in high school, I was a wrestler. We had a really great team.
Did you have a cool wrestling name?
No, it was not like Stone Cold Steve.
Yeah.
No, but
should have been Chewy.
Yeah, should have, right? Hey, I
a
am
great wrestling name.
Low-key professional wrestling fan,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't judge me.
It's
out
not
there in
fake.
America.
It's not fake.
Still me over the me. So we had a fantastic wrestling team in Holly, home of the Bronchos. Don't forget that H.
The Bronchos. All right.
In what really drew me to that sport in general was it is an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. Mm-hmm. Your success directly relates to your team's success. Mm-hmm. So even though, you know what, hey, man, our 112 pounder is having a really bad week, you know, and he might drop a couple matches. Guess what? The rest of the team's picking him up. So success to me is 100% driven by how you can share that success with others around you. So we talk a lot in the business world about success, and you want to be that next billionaire and everything like that. And it always comes back to, and I can't stand a lot of these things just because it's like you are only part of the equation of your general environment.
Right.
I love this community of Owasso.
Yeah.
There are so many great thinkers, and even just in this armory that we're sitting in right here alone, there are some fantastic minds. Mm-hmm. And what are those people doing? They're getting out. They're joining different civic organizations. They're making their presence felt. They're applying their skills, their skill set, to multiple different avenues. And why is that working? Well, success is a group effort. Mm-hmm. Success is a shared profit. Mm-hmm. Success comes only in that, for me at least.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, man. Go out and make $1 million. Cool.
Yeah.
See if you feel fulfilled about it.
Yeah, and I've been talking a lot about this lately. I've had a lot of conversations with people for whatever reason about success and what success means. There's certainly a dictionary definition of success, which is pretty generic, something like accomplishing something you set out to do. And I think everybody wants success. I think everybody wants, but I think personally, you have to define what success is to you. Some people might say it's making $1 million. And if that's what success equals to you, then go make $1 million.
Yeah, man, have at it.
Yeah. Some people might say, making it to the NBA, that's success. And if that's your dream, go get it. For me, I've defined success as being able to do what I love and having the freedom of time to be able to spend with my family and my loved ones. And so
that's a beautiful thing, ain't it, Tony?
It is.
Ain't
And,
that a
and,
beautiful
and
thing?
although my company is in infancy still, it's less than 5 years old, and we have a long way to go when it comes to really building this brand, I feel in my heart like I've had a lot of success because I'm doing the things that I'm present with my family. I get to spend a lot of time with my kids. I'm watching them grow up. You only get that chance one time. Mm-hmm. And so other people would look at me and maybe say, he's not successful yet. And that's okay for them to think that because they don't really determine my success.
Exactly.
And
That's you.
Right, exactly.
Do you feel successful, Tony?
Right, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Do the people around you feel successful?
Well, that's for them to decide, I guess. I mean, that's
the
for
people
them.
that mean the most to you, your family.
Certainly. They when I was working my job as a hotelier, I was working 80, 90 hours a week. I wasn't there. We made more money even than we make now. As a business owner, I made more money then, and I turned down some jobs. But they like the fact that Dad's around and they get to see me, and so they feel that sharing in that success with me.
That sounds like success to me. And you know what? That's only gonna make your family more successful. It's only gonna make your friends, your colleagues more successful because you feel fulfilled and successful.
Right.
Sorry, I pulled a total Dr. Phil and reversed this, and now I'm interviewing Tony.
You're trying to pull out the emotions there. I didn't realize what was happening, but I think that it's so important. When you just define what success means to you, it's important that people can articulate that and so that they know what they're working towards. Because what ends up happening is people think especially because of social media. Here's my little rant for the day, if you will. But people go on social media, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, that they see the highlight reel. They see everyone's vacation, and they see everyone's new car, and they see their new outfit, and they see where they got to go eat dinner, and it was fancy, and they see their new relationship, and they look at that and think, man, I'm just missing out. FOMO, we talked about it. And so they feel like they don't have success. So they work so hard in a job that they hate to get this vacation that gives them a week or 2 weeks of relief, and then they got to go back and right, and then they got to go back and work that job that they hate again. They work so hard to get this new car that they think is going to make them happy, and then they got to go back to the job they hate to pay for that car. That really, after a couple of months, I mean, every junkier, rusted out beater that you see driving down the road at one time was someone's favorite new car.
Oh yeah, man, I love my Dodge Caliber from 2012, man.
Yeah.
It was shiny and new.
Right. And so I think it's important, if you're listening today, that you define what is success and find what it is, the thing that is going to really make you happy. And don't let everybody else tell you what that is. Don't let anybody else tell you what that is. You got to determine that. And in the process, of doing that, don't miss out on the people around you. Make that connection. And, I'm going to kind of end with this question because I think it's important that we address this. As we said earlier, that I think there's a lot of people out there that want to make the connection. They want to be better at connecting with people. They want to be better at conversation. They want to be better at making friends, real friends, not just Facebook friends. But they just don't know how. They've grown up in a different world than we grew up in. And so what would be the best advice you would give to somebody that says, hey, I want to start taking the steps towards that, but what do I do?
This is going to take a little bit of work from you guys, but I do want everybody to try this, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, no matter what your goal is. This is how I like to say it. So great conversationalists come from people of great confidence. And you might be sitting out there thinking, well, I'm not that confident. Maybe I'm a little unsure of myself. My self-esteem's a little bit low. Well, get rid of that. Number one, okay? You're freaking awesome because you know you're freaking awesome. But confidence has to come from somewhere, right? And you can't just all of a sudden wake up, take a pill, now I have confidence.
Right.
Unless you have a really good espresso maker.
Which you do, I found out.
Yeah, buddy. That's why I'm always wired. But
yeah.
Confidence comes from doing it more and more and more and more and more, and not having that fear of rejection and not having that fear of judgment.
Right.
So I think one of the easiest things, and I kind of learned this is strange enough, I learned this from a dating podcast a while ago, and it really kind of tied it together. And then I went, oh wow, that really applies to just genuinely owning a room. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of people have that skill. Like I know. You can definitely tell. You can walk into a room and you know who owns that room.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool because that people gravitate to that. Well, you go, well, how do I be that person? Or maybe I don't want to be that person. Well, you don't have to be that person. You don't have to be
that person, right?
But in order to get that great confidence, you might have to go to the extreme to start. Mm-hmm. So here's what I recommend you do. Okay, you're about to go into a party or a restaurant or a meeting. There's tons of people there, right? Let's say you're going to a chamber after hours event or something. Mm-hmm. Before you open that door, stop. Deep breath. That raises your chest, right? Mm-hmm. Shoulders back. That presents a confident posture. Mm-hmm. So posture is one thing. Mindset's next. Stop. Close your eyes. Think. I have to give a 3-minute presentation to all these people in this room.
Right.
Okay. Now you have purpose. You walk in that door with purpose, guess what? You have confidence.
Right.
I guarantee you at least one person's going to look when you come in that door and they go, oh.
Yeah. And recognize it.
And it likens back to like laws of attraction, right? Confidence. Boldness. Boldness is the number one trait that a female will look for in a male. And that doesn't necessarily just have to go for, like I said, in a dating aspect.
Right.
People notice. Mm-hmm. People notice when you walk into the room. If you are set in that manner, people will notice.
No question.
So do that. Just do that. Walk up to somebody after that and go, you know what? I wanted to meet you. I saw you over there.
Yeah.
I wanted to meet you. My name is so-and-so. And that's all you have to do. They're immediately going to reciprocate that conversation in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. You don't have to ask any questions. They're going to tell you something.
Yeah.
Then you listen and you act. That's key. Actually listen.
Listen.
Don't wait and then say the next thing.
Prepare your response.
Actually listen.
Yeah.
Figure out something about what they just said that you can repeat back to them and relate to. And guess what, Tony? Now we're having a conversation.
Right.
Now we're making a connection. And as I mentioned before, if there is no connection there, that's okay. Because guess what? There's 6.999 billion other people in the world that I can connect with.
Yeah.
But that's the key to making that interpersonal connection. So before you even walk in the door, that's what I want you guys to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think, you mentioned that maybe you think, oh, I've tried that before, and then nobody liked it or nobody reciprocated. And like he said, there's 6 billion other people. Somebody will reciprocate. Sometimes you're just going to find a wet blanket and someone that just is a introvert, doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to meet, and that's fine.
Believe you me, that happens.
Leave
that person a ton.
Leave that person with a good impression and move on. Don't let one bad experience ruin it for the rest of your life.
They call that the theory of abundance.
Yeah.
That's what they call that.
Yeah.
And essentially we call it like there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Right.
But that applies to business principle as well.
Sure,
It's
sure.
the law of abundance. There is so many more relationships and connections out
Exactly.
there. So if that person didn't connect with me, that's okay. That's not bad on them.
Right.
That's not bad on me.
Right.
It just didn't work.
It just didn't work
Let's
out.
go, you know?
Exactly. Keep moving forward. So we're gonna give you an opportunity here. I've had in my life people ask me for advice. I'm sure you've had a lot of people ask for advice, but there's a lot of dreamers out there. People, wanting to start something, wanting to try something, wanting to start a new business, whatever. But what is the best piece of advice that DJ Chewy has for someone that's out there wanting to try something, wanting to do something, wanting to start a business, wanting to take their business to the next level? They're trying to think of something that they could do, but they're just not sure where to start. What's the best piece of advice you got for them?
Well, I mean, my advice would pale in comparison to motivational Instagram quotes with a really cute picture in the background.
Yeah, sure.
Which, don't get me wrong, I love those things. Man.
Yeah.
Absolutely love
Those
those
are in
things.
abundance these days too.
But my best advice to everybody would be, get that confidence, get that swagger, get that vibe, get that mood. When you have that, people flock to it. Mm-hmm. And it's something, like I said, that can't be manufactured, right? You can't just read a book and go, oh, you know what, I'm confident.
Right.
Or you can't just scroll through your Instagram feed and go, you know what, this meme said this. Like,
right.
Okay, you know what, I'm confident. You might be for 5 minutes and then
Right.
something's going to beat you down.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to recover.
Yeah.
So it's not something you can manufacture. You have to get that confidence. And like
Right.
I said before, the best way to do that, practice it.
Right.
Go out. I mean, even if let's say you live here in the Owasso community and you're not confident, but you really want to accomplish something, go to Flint or Lansing and practice.
Right.
If you want, this world is giant.
Right.
Go practice somewhere else. If you have that fear, because guess what, you're not going to run into people in Maumee, Ohio.
Right.
That you're going to run into here. Yeah, you might
Right.
maybe see someone a couple times, but
Shout out to Mommy.
Maumee. Yeah, of course. Out of all places in Ohio, he picks Maumee.
Why Ohio? Any place? Come on, man.
I don't know, Tony. My mind was racing, and I immediately went to Ohio, which is for lovers. If you ask Hawthorne Heights,
Yes, I didn't, but
yeah, but
thanks.
nobody would. But it really is. It's. And I know if you're watching this video instead of just listening to this podcast, you can see how excited I am about this, right?
Yeah.
And, talking with my hands. And,
Yeah.
I'm John Mariner talking with my hands. But like it really is. It's if you're confident,
Yeah.
and you get that feeling, everybody wants to be in that vibe and they want to be in that mood. And then you are actually creating those personal connections with people.
Yeah.
Now, following up on it, it's a little bit different. That's going to be person by person basis. But if you can immediately make that connection, somebody's going to remember you.
Right. And I think when it comes to confidence, I think a huge aspect of confidence is something I've talked about and preached for years, and it's really become a popular thing in society recently, is this idea of self-awareness, or what people now are referring to as emotional intelligence, where you understand what you're good at and you're comfortable admitting it, but you're equally comfortable admitting what you're not good at, your weaknesses. Everybody can stand up and say, I'm good at this, or can point out something, and they're comfortable with that, and there's no embarrassment to say, I'm good at basketball, or I'm good at DJing, or I'm good at drawing. But to be able to is with the same amount of confidence to admit, I'm not good at that, or it's not that I couldn't be, but I'm just not right now. I had never done it. I've never played it. I don't. And sometimes people walk in the room and they feel like they have to be, the only way to be accepted is if they're good at the same thing that everyone else in the room is good at. And that's just not true. And so figure out a way to examine yourself. There's a great book called Emotional Intelligence 2.0 that I recommend. It's just like 120 pages. It's a short read. But there's all kinds of stuff out there right now about emotional intelligence. That's a whole nother podcast we won't talk about today. But confidence is the key. But sometimes it's not easy to get that. And I think one of the gateways to that is this idea of having, a good awareness of who you are and being comfortable in your own skin. So, well, listen, I appreciate you coming on today. Chewy, we could talk for hours. We really will. And if you're still with us, we appreciate that. We've enjoyed sharing some of our information and our knowledge. I appreciate you sharing that with us. But if somebody wanted to book DJ Chewy, if somebody wanted to know more about some Olympic weightlifting or how to prep meals, or even with American Recycling, tell our audience a little bit of how they can reach out and find you, DJ Chewy or Casey Lambert.
Right. Okay. I mean, we talked about social media, of course. So, I mean, if you're into the DJ side of it, facebook.com/Chewy Beats, or just search DJ Chewy. I'm the only one in the U.S. that I know of. There's some cat in England.
Okay.
But entirely different styles.
Right.
He's a cool dude, though. We talked once.
Oh, cool.
So you can reach me there. You can hit me on IG, Instagram. DJ Chewy _USA. See, and I had to put the USA in
I
it.
like that. America.
SoundCloud, same thing. Just search DJ Chewy, MixLR, all the other DJ platforms there as well. You could Snapchat it, DJ Chewy _USA. If you're interested in Olympic weightlifting, I'm teaching out at Fitness Coliseum now. We got a great program started up there. Some fantastic people really working towards it. And you can hit me at Black Hearts BC on Instagram and be part of that. And then, you know what? Just reach out to Casey Lambert. You want to come hang out in my kitchen and make some super bomb food, man. I made some Chipotle pork loin this week.
And you didn't bring any.
With garlic parmesan.
But today's my
couscous.
cheat day, so I could have had some healthy food.
Oh, no, it's too healthy.
I only eat
That's
healthy
too
food.
healthy for a cheat.
I only eat healthy food on cheat days.
That's an inverse cheat day, man.
Right, that's exactly right. You
Yeah,
don't get a body like this by eating healthy food every single day. So this took a lot of work. This didn't happen
It's
overnight.
like Golden Adonis over there.
That's right.
I'll tell you, Mrs. Nash is happy.
It didn't happen overnight.
Mrs. Nash is happy. But I appreciate you having me on, man. Really, it was great to talk to you and kind of help maybe talk to people out there that might, they don't ooze confidence, but you know what? It's fine, man. You can get it. Zach, you can get your confidence, man.
Yeah.
You be cool.
He's a ways off, but we're working on him. So, well, listen, you heard it here. Make the connection. Get out there today and make a connection with somebody. Start right now. Start this weekend. Go up to somebody in the store and have a conversation. Call a friend that you haven't talked to in a lot of years and have a over-the-phone conversation. Take them out for lunch. But start making connections with people, and I guarantee it will set you apart. It will make my life more interesting. It'll make life more fun. And you will see results, not just in your business. Of course, I do think it will help you in your business, but you're going to see results in your life. And you're not going to be one of those people that end up being alone at the end of your life. So surround yourself with good, positive people. Make that connection and really take an interest in people. Be interested. There are a lot of people out there to get to know. And so be interested in them. So thank you for joining us today on our podcast. As I always say, as my mother used to tell me, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and do something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, if you like what you saw today, please like and subscribe for more content.